pursuit.
Vehicle failed to stop.
And out in force. This is Police Interceptors.
Stay there until you get dust.
Following every move of Cheshire's elite crime-fighting units.
Hey lad! Police retreaters!
We put you in the front seat with their pursuit drivers.
Black on the 534.
On the hunt with their dog units.
Right me.
Ringside as they go toe-to-toe with the bad guys.
Get off the legs! Put your arm behind your back! Racers, hard everything!
Buckle up. Set tasers to stun and stand by to intercept.
You're on top now! Another day at the office.
Coming up on Police Interceptors, cops go head-to-head with a gang of violent armed robbers.
Face the office, got out the car and hit the police vehicle with a baseball bat. Police forward!
An early morning raid is bang on the money.
To further carry back a rather large, substantial amount of money.
And the late night call leads to a smashing surprise.
Someone's in the front window throwing bottles at people.
Cheshire may be one of Britain's wealthiest counties, but that doesn't mean the Interceptors don't have to deal with their fair share of serious criminals. And the worst offenders are armed robbers. The trend to rip off cash machines is on the rise. This shocking footage shows the ATM to the right being blown wide open. A method used by organised gangs to trouser the cash. Not only is it highly dangerous, it's also highly effective. With your average cash machine holding up to £20,000, it can earn criminals a pretty penny. But the organised gangs behind these crimes are violent, dangerous, and will stop at nothing to get away.
People we try and stop, organised crime groups, crimes they're committing are serious crimes, armed robberies, drug trafficking, cash in transit robberies. So when you're dealing with that sort of criminal, the level of violence does increase.
It's 3 a.m. near the Manchester border. The Interceptors have spotted an Audi S3 loitering near an ATM machine. But as they approach the vehicle, the driver aggressively makes off at speed.
The vehicle failing to stop Wilmslow Road towards Cheadle, Audi S3.
The cops fear they may have rumbled a gang of cash point thieves.
It is now right, off the roundabout.
But bizarrely, it looks like the suspected robbers are giving up.
Vehicle is braking. It is safe to continue. There are no pedestrians. No other vehicle traffic. Stand by. Vehicle stop. Occupants out. Attacking the police vehicle. Windows flat.
Shockingly, a bloke in a balaclava just jumped out of the Audi and repeatedly smashed the cop's windscreen with a sledgehammer.
Our windscreen has been smashed, but it's on the passenger side. It is safe for us to continue at this time.
These criminals are armed, dangerous, and intent on getting away. News of the violent attack against the Interceptors has reached fellow officer Tom Spowage. A highly trained pursuit driver with 18 years experience locking up some of the country's toughest criminals. Tom's the copper you want in your corner when going toe-to-toe with nasty villains.
The vehicle that the police keep following is basically off into the out of the car and hit the police vehicle with a baseball bat and smashed the windscreen. So trying to make some ground and the dog's going to try and go get the helicopter as well.
Several other Interceptor cars, including a dog handler, are now racing to assist. Back with the pursuit. And the high-performance Audi S3 is dangerously tearing through 40 limit roadworks at speeds of up to 130 miles per hour. That's almost 3 times the legal limit. Now headed towards a rural area, unable to shake off the interceptors, the cops fear these violent criminals will once again take extreme action to escape. The need for backup has never been more pressing. Tom is still minutes away. Back with the pursuit, the gang look desperate to launch another sledgehammer attack.
The occupants has attempted to get out and attack us with the baseball bat, and we've been forced around the vehicle.
But in fending off the onslaught, the Interceptor's car has sustained some damage, and the Audi disappears into the darkness. But all is not lost. A second Interceptor unit is just seconds behind.
Stop, hurry up, last mate. Mate, they will stop and get out and attack the car. It smashed our window.
And they've spotted the Audi, but the armed suspects have ditched the motor, and the cops suspect they've scarpered into these fields.
Yeah, he can.
Tom is just seconds away.
Basically, the car's now started up. It's a decamped near Manchester. Oh, we're in Balclaw. It's going to be arriving at the scene shortly. So we'll see what's happened and we can find the offenders who've apparently gone across fields here.
A full-scale manhunt is now on, with every interceptor and their dog desperate to track down the fleeing suspects.
So that's the car that's been involved, and the offenders have run off down this road here.
Scattering into dark fields, the odds are stacked against the interceptors.
Police dog's got a track, so we'll just keep a distance for a little bit and hopefully hear the dog barking in a minute.
Against all odds, the police dog has picked up a scent.
I'm sure he's on this side, mate.
But will the thieves' head start prove too much for the interceptors? The interceptors have been involved in a high-speed pursuit with a gang of suspected armed robbers.
Basically, occupants got out of the car and hit the police vehicle with baseball bats.
The gang, armed with sledgehammers, have dumped their performance motor and done a runner. But despite their best efforts, the suspected armed robbers seem to have vanished.
The dog handler's had a good track across the fields, got to the railway line, he's had a good check. Nothing.
But it's not all bad news. The abandoned Audi S3 may give the cops more than they bargained for.
It's an outstanding stolen vehicle from a burglary G&P from about the 8th of October. You look at the reg plate on it, you can tell it's false because there's no markings on it, it's just like it's stuck on.
The crooks have nicked this high-value motor, but they've left behind both low and high-tech tools of their trade. And as the cops found out earlier, in the wrong hands, a sledgehammer can do a lot of damage.
You can see from the unmarked police car here that they've tried to stop this vehicle and the occupants have got out and attacked the front windscreen.
But it's the high-tech kit in the back of the motor that reveals the full extent of this gang's shocking crimes.
Satellite tanks in the Audi, looks like they were going to be doing a cash point.
These explosive devices are what criminals use to blow open ATM machines in order to steal the cash. This is a crook's kit for busting ATMs. The tank contains a combustible gas, which gangs often use to blow a cash machine wide open.
That's it.
With an expensive stolen car recovered and weapons seized, as well as rumbling a gang of suspected cash point thieves, it's been a successful night for Tom and his fellow interceptors.
We've got some forensic evidence from the car. There's one discarded hat, and there'll be forensic evidence within the vehicle that we can use to try and get the offenders for the job. So hopefully we'll get them at some point. Modern forensic technology.
It's 10 days later at Salford Police Station, Greater Manchester. The forensic team worked their magic, and DNA evidence, along with help from CCTV, has identified 4 men who the cops suspect are the armed robbers who attacked the Interceptor's car. Today's Interceptor, Tom Dale, is part of a team carrying out one of 5 early morning house raids in the Manchester area.
We've got a number of officers going from Cheshire and Greater Manchester. Probably about 50 officers in all, Taser officers and CID officers to go and effect the rest of the 4 individuals that we're after. They're quite high risk offenders. I believe 2 of them have recently been released from prison for armed robbery jobs. They sound like quite nasty characters.
As well as collaring one of the 4 suspects, on this raid Tom will also be hoping to seize anything related to cash point thefts. At the property linked to one of the gang, the Interceptors are preparing to smash down the door using a tool known as the Big Red Key. It's a key that fits any door.
Open the door, please!
Come down now. Come down now. Door's going in.
But it seems this time it's surplus to requirement.
Please, Warren!
No, there isn't one every door down the stairs.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
The cops search the house,
See? No reason.
including the attic.
Clear.
But there are no signs of their armed suspect.
Can we ask what you're in for, by the way?
Well, we've got a warrant to arrest somebody, alright.
Tom and his colleagues now need to comb the flat for any evidence relating to cash point thefts. Bingo. It looks like the team have hit the jackpot.
Roughly looks about £1,000, I would suggest. So I'll seize that as evidence. Alongside that was this next bag here, which is like a black plastic, and it looks like a dog waste bag, to be fair. And again, that's full of money. Again, not counted it, so I don't know how much is there. And then there's a further carrier bag, which contains a rather large, substantial amount of money. I would suggest it's thousands. So, this is all being seized as evidence in relation to money laundering.
Stacks of £10 and £20 notes isn't what most people leave lying around the house. Someone has some serious explaining to do.
Suffice to say, we found a significant quantity of cash.
Right, okay.
Have you any explanation for your possession of that?
No.
Right. I arrest you on suspicion of money laundering.
The cash is bagged and tagged and will be forensically examined back at the station for any clues about its origin.
We've raided 5 houses this morning simultaneously. 2 offenders from the incidents we're after have been arrested.
Meanwhile, on the raids of the other suspected armed robbers' properties, there's also good news.
A carrier bag full of money that needs accounting for from the address. So all in all, quite a good job. A couple of the offenders brought into custody, and hopefully the others will be not too far behind.
The Interceptors eventually caught up with 3 of the 4 men they suspect made up the gang of armed robbers. In court, they pleaded guilty to aggravated vehicle taking, conspiracy to cause an explosion and endanger life and property, and conspiracy to commit burglary. They are now residing at Her Majesty's pleasure. The cash seized from the house amounted to £27,000. There was no evidence to suggest it was linked to cash point thefts. The woman who was arrested on suspicion of money laundering was de-arrested later that day, and no further action was taken.